Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment we bring to you questions on a daily basis which will help you for your prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. Recently proposed Shukrayaan mission aims to study which of the following? A. Mars, B. Venus, C. Moon, D. Jupiter. I hope you have been able to answer it correctly. The correct answer for this question is B, that is Venus. So let's begin with the explanation. The Indian Space Research Organization has shortlisted 20 space-based experiment proposals for its proposed Shukrayaan mission. Now, this is a Venus orbiter mission. From the name itself, we can understand this is a Venus orbiter mission to study the planet for more than 4 years. The satellite is planned to be launched in either 2024 or 2026. If we talk about the payload capability of the proposed 2500 kilogram satellite planned to be launched on board GSLV Mark II rocket is likely to be 175 kg with 500 watts of power. The proposed orbit is expected to be around 500 into 60,000 kilometers around Venus. Now, this orbit is likely to be reduced gradually over several months in lower apoapsis. Apoapsis is the farthest point. Alright, so now let's look at the first question for today's segment. With reference to real-time gross settlement, RTGS, consider the following statements. RTGS is not a 24/7 facility and is available only during working hours of banks. Second, maximum amount that can be sent through RTGS mode is rupees 5 lakh. Which of the statements given above are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this is A, that is 1 only. Only the first statement is correct. Now, if we talk about RTGS you must have used it many times, I guess. So, RTGS is an electronic fund transfer method. It transfers funds through which money is sent on a real-time basis without any sort of delays. By the name of it, RTGS, real-time. Real-time means at the same moment of event when it occurs. Alright? RTGS allows the money sent by the remitter to immediately reach the receiver or the beneficiary as and when the money gets transacted. Also, gross settlement. What does this mean? Gross settlement refers to the processing of transaction on an individual basis and not on batch-wise basis. Also, minimum amount that can be sent via RTGS is rupees 2 lakh and there is not an upper limit. Alright. Also, RTGS is not a 24/7 facility. That means it works only when the bank is working, during the working hours of the bank. Let's move forward and look at this next question. Narcotics Control Bureau is under the aegis of A. Ministry of Home Affairs, B. Ministry of Ayush, C. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, or D. Ministry of Science and Technology. A lot has been talked about Narcotics Control Bureau in the past few months. I hope you will be able to answer it correctly. The correct answer is A, yes, Ministry of Home Affairs. So let's move on to the explanation. It was constituted by the Government of India in the year 1986 under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act of 1985, and it works under the aegis of Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, it is the apex coordinating body. For what purpose? for Drug Abuse Control and Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act provides some other features as well. Let's talk about them. It provides for the penalty of property which has been derived from the illicit usage and traffic of narcotic drugs. The Act mandates an express provision for constituting a central authority for the purpose of exercising the powers and functions of the central government under this particular Act. Also, Article 47 of the Indian Constitution, which directs the states to bring laws to bring about prohibition of the consumption except for medicinal purpose, any sort of use of intoxicating drugs that are injurious to your health. Alright, now let's move on and talk about our next question. Which of the following country is associated with Operation Pavan? A. Sri Lanka, B. Maldives, C. Nepal, or D. Bhutan? So I hope you have been able to answer it correctly. The correct answer is A, that is Sri Lanka. So let's move on to the explanation. Operation Pavan was the code name assigned to the Indian peacekeeping force. Why? To wrest control of Jaffna. Jaffna is a territory located in Sri Lanka from the Liberation Tiger of Tamil Eelam, that means LTTE. Even though Jaffna was taken over by the Indian peacekeeping force, but it was at a huge cost. Why? Why was it at a huge cost? It faced severe criticisms against an allegation against human rights violation from the Sri Lankan government and the Tamil Tigers as well, and many other human rights organizations. Let's move on and talk about which of the following constitute the Ayush system of medication. First, Ayurveda. Second, Yoga and Naturopathy. Third, Unani, or fourth, Siddha. Select the correct answer using code given below. A 1 and 2 only, B 2 and 3 only, C 1, 3 and 4 only, or D 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer is D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. All of these constitute the Ayush system of medication. Let's look at the explanation. Department of Ayush, Ministry of Health, Family and Welfare and the Government of India has launched National Ayush Mission or NAM during the 12th plan of implementation, for implementation through the states and union territories. If we talk about the basic objectives of NAM, it is to provide cost-effective Ayush services as well as strengthening of educational systems and facilitate the enforcement of quality control of ASUN-H drugs, also sustainable availability of ASUN-H raw materials. Alright. In addition to it, it envisages flexibility of implementation of the program, which will lead to substantial participation of the state governments and union territories as well. The NAM contemplates establishment of national mission as well as corresponding mission in the state level. Now, if we talk more about it, the Ayush system has following constituents, which was asked in the question: Ayurveda, Yoga and Naturopathy, and Unani, in addition to Siddha and Homeopathy as well. Please keep these certain points in mind because sometimes These points elude us and we lose in the prelims. Moving forward, let's look at the next question, please. The regional offices of National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited, first Mumbai, second Chennai, third Kolkata, fourth Bengaluru. Select the correct answer using code given below. A 1 and 2 only, B 1, 2 and 3 only, C 2, 3 and 4 only, and D 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this is B, that is 1, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only. Let's move on to the explanation of it. National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited, that means NAFED. What is it? It is an apex organization of marketing cooperatives for agricultural produce in India, and it was founded on 2nd October 1958 to promote the trade of agricultural produce and forest resources. Not only agriculture produce, but also forest resources across the nation. Also, it is registered under the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act. Also, keep this particular point in mind, right? Let's move on and know more about it. NAFED is now one of the largest procurements as well as marketing agencies, and it deals in, of course, agricultural products in India, which is with its headquarters in New Delhi. NAFED has 4 regional offices. Let's talk about them. Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, as asked in the question. Apart from its regional offices, NAFED has 28 zonal offices in capital states, including Bengaluru as well. Alright. Next, let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to Information Fusion Center for the Indian Ocean region. IFC is the single point center linking all the coastal radar chains to generate a seamless real-time picture of the nearly 7,500 kilometer coastline. It will serve countries that have signed any shipping information exchange agreement with India. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. I hope you will be able to answer it correctly. The correct answer for this is A, that is 1 only. That means only the first statement is correct. Now let's move on to the explanation. The Information Fusion Center will serve countries that have wide shipping information exchange agreements with India. If we talk about wide shipping, it means commercial shipping, information about movement of cargo ships, right? The IFC IOR is established with the vision of strengthening maritime security by building a common and coherent maritime situation picture and acting as a maritime information hub for the region. Also, the IFC has been established at the Indian Navy's Information Management and Analysis Center, or the IMAC as we know it, in Gurugram, Haryana. Alright? IFC is the single point center. It is the single point center which links all the coastal radar chains to generate a seamless, real-time picture of the nearly 7,500 kilometer coastline. Right? Now let's move on to the next question. Which of the following statements regarding the Speaker of the Lok Sabha is not correct? Please keep these 2 words in mind. A, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha comes at third position in the order of precedence of Government of India. B. While debating or during general discussion on a bill, the bills of the Parliament have to address only to the Speaker. C. Speaker is the final and sole authority to allow different types of motions and resolutions. D. Both A and B. So you have to choose the statement which is not correct. That means false. I hope you have been able to answer it correctly. The correct answer, that means the statement which is not correct, is A. That is, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha comes at third position in the order of precedence of Government of India. Let's look at the explanation, please. Let's talk about the functions and powers of the speakers. Speaker of Lok Sabha is basically the head of the house and presides over the sittings of Parliament and controls its working as well. The Constitution has tried to ensure the independence of the Speaker. How? By charging his or her salary on the Consolidated Fund of India, which is not subject to the vote of the Parliament. While debating or during a general discussion on any bill, the member of the Parliament have to address only and only to the Speaker. Also, whenever there is a joint sitting of both the houses, that means the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha presides over that meeting, right? The Speaker of the Lok Sabha doesn't come at the third but the sixth position in the order of precedence of Government of India. If we look at the order of precedence, the first is of course the head of the state, President, then comes Vice President, Prime Minister, Governors of states, former presidents, as well as Deputy Prime Ministers after that, not as well as, but after that, Chief Justice of India and Speaker of the Lok Sabha, that means sixth in line, right? Now let's move forward and know more about the Speaker. In the normal circumstances, the Speaker does not cast his or her vote. He or she casts vote whenever there is a tie on votes between the opposition and the ruling party. Then only he or she casts the vote. It is the Speaker who decides the agenda of various discussions, and the Speaker has the power to adjourn or suspend the sitting of the House if the quorum is not met. What is a quorum? Quorum is the minimum number of members that are required to conduct normal course of business of the Parliament, right? Moving forward, the Speaker ensures the discipline and decorum of the House is maintained, and he or she has the power to punish the unruly members of the House. The Speaker decides whether a bill brought into the House is a money bill or not, and in the case the Speaker decides that some bill is a money bill, then that decision cannot be challenged, right? Now let's move forward and talk more about the Speaker, because Speaker is such an important figure in our India. Speaker is the final and sole authority to allow different types of motions and resolutions, such as no confidence motion, motion of adjournment, censure motion, etc. Now, we are going to talk about our next question. Right to internet, frequently seen in news, is A. Fundamental right, B. Legal right, C. Constitutional right, or D. Statutory right? I hope you have answered it correctly. It's A. That is, it is a fundamental right. Yes. Right to internet is a fundamental right that is subject to reasonable restriction like all other FRs. It is included in the freedom of expression under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. And if we talk about restrictions on fundamental right, these could not be in exercise of arbitrary powers these freedoms could only and only be restricted as a last resort, and if relevant factors have been considered and no other options are there. Also, suspension of internet services indefinitely, right, is also a violation of telecom rules and regulations. Let's move forward and know more about it. As per the Supreme Court judgment in the Anuradha Bhasin case, keep this particular case in mind, internet services cannot be suspended indefinitely. Now, following these orders, what did the government do? The central government amended the telecom suspension rules precisely of 2017 to insert Rule 2A. What does it do? It specifies that an internet slowdown order can be an internet shutdown order or slowdown as well, can remain in operation for a minimum period of 15 days. Let's move forward and talk about our next question. Which of the following countries share a border with Afghanistan? First, Uzbekistan. Second, Turkmenistan. Third, Tajikistan. Fourth, Azerbaijan. Fifth, Kyrgyzstan. Let's look at the options. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. A1, 2 and 3, A1, 2, 3 and 4 only, B2, 3 and 5 only, C1, 2 and 3 only, or D1, 3 and 5 only. The correct answer for this is C, that is 1, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only. Let's move on to the explanation, please. Look at this map. You will see Afghanistan shares its borders with so many countries. Iran, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, and also, interestingly, with a very small line, with India as well. Alright, now if you look at the map, you can see Kabul is here. Can you please think of what is this line called? If you know it, answer in the comment segment, please. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to unique document identification number. First, it is an 18-digit system generated unique number which shall be generated separately for each document. This was introduced to curb fake certifications by non-CAs misrepresenting themselves as chartered accountants. Let's move on to the options, please. Which of the statements given above are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. Look at the statements once more. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this is C, that is both 1 and 2 statements are correct. Both of these statements are correct. Let's move on to the explanation. Unique document identification number is an 18-digit number which appears at documents attested by the chartered accountants in practice. And as I told you, it is an 18-digit system-generated unique number which shall be generated separately for each document, separately. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, or ICAI, in its Gazette notification dated 2nd August 2019, had made generation of UDIA from ICAI website mandatory. That means it has become a compulsion for every kind of certificate, tax audit report, and other attests made by their members as required by various other regulators, right? Also, This was introduced why? To curb fake certification by non-CAs misrepresenting themselves as chartered accountants, basically to weed them out. This was made a mandatory request, mandatory command, right? Now, let's look at the practice question for our next segment. Which of the following are the objectives of JSON continuity of services? JSON CS mission. We have talked about it in our last segment. It measures the height of the ocean, provide measurements of global sea level rise. It measures marine pollution and also estimates the fish population. Which of the statements given above are correct? A 1 and 2 only, B 2 and 3 only, C 1 and 3 only, or D 1, 2 and 3 only? So I hope you will be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I am going to turn up with another segment. Thank you so much for watching.